Hey, today I will be talking about astrology and choosing profession. The vocation or profession is ruled by the 10th house, and the planets or planet in or the ruler of the 10th house can determine what can be called natural vocation and where the individual fits within the scheme of life. So the indications of the 10th house at birth show the natural calling, and which, if the individual follows it up, will bring success, happiness, and usefulness in life. It can be said that it could be helpful for every young person to have their chart read by an experienced astrologer to maybe give an insight into what type of profession or professions could be most suitable for them. Of course, there are people who are lucky enough to know from early on what exactly they want, and that is something I personally admire a lot. And then there are many who do not know, or another thing is possible, and this one is somewhat sad, as some people know what they want to do, but either their surroundings or some other situation is not allowing them going into that direction, and usually they have to wait for a long time before they're able to do something they want or like. So in astrology, the 10th house is most often connected with the individual's professional life and affairs, honor, fame, reputation, career, and position in society. So one standing before the world. From this house, we might also see one's relations with those who are more or less in some sort of authority over the individual, such as employers and clients, father or mother, cousins on the father's or mother's side, but 10th house also shows fall from grace. Of the four angular houses, 10th house is second in importance as it assembles, universalizes, vitalizes, and basically summarizes the individual's relationship to society as expressed through his occupational activities. Ptolemy considered a planet in the midheaven stronger than in any other part of the chart. In the old texts, it is mentioned that the best planets to have in the 10th house are Sun and Jupiter, but that, of course, is not always right. The Greeks, on the other hand, have proven to be right over and over again, but even me, after doing this for what I think is a pretty long time and being a natural skeptic, I am still trying to debunk this. Other than the 10th house and its ruler, 6th and 2nd house can also be significant while looking at the profession. 6th house is considered to be stronger than the second in these matters. With all of this being said, we have to take notice of the midheaven and where is it located. So in my practice, I use different house systems, but most often, or at least I start with the whole sign house system. And this house system is considered to be the oldest, and it is the simplest method of house division. In this system, the entire ascending sign, not the ascending degree, forms the first house. Basically, first house starts from 0 degrees and goes exactly to 30 degrees and so on. The midheaven can occur in the 8th, 9th, 10th, or in the 11th house. So we should look at the 10th house and its sign and the midheaven as separate career indicators and include both in the profession analysis. Many planets in the 10th house usually indicate that the rise should be quick and almost guaranteed. However, which planets are included and aspects they make can make that rise easy and long-lasting, or again, the rise can be quick and easy, but the downfall could be immense. For example, a ruler of the 10th house in the first house can indicate successful action, in the second, gaining position, in the seventh, one could have a help from a woman, and in the 12th, success can come through secret and dark channels, and so on. In ancient Greece, astrologers gave great attention to the sect of a chart or a horoscope, whether it represented a day or night birth. So day sect is when sun rises above the horizon, and Jupiter is considered to be the most positive planet, Mars being the most negative, while in a night chart or night sect, the positive role goes to Venus and negative to Saturn. Mercury is neutral. Now, there can be some confusion about early morning births or early night, as outside can be daylight, but the sun did not technically risen over the horizon. So a practitioner should look at the degrees of the ascendant and the descendant. I believe up to 6 degrees can be allowed, but maybe more, maybe a little bit less. Or one can simply go outside and decide for himself. Now, some points can be helpful in deciding whether the planets will work in favor when choosing a profession. So if a planet is in the sign of rulership, or if it is exalted, if the planet rules the midheaven, if a planet is located closely to the midheaven, sometimes even to the ascendant, if the planet rules the 10th, 6th, or 2nd house, if the planet conjuncts North Node, and so on. A retrograde planet can be strangely helpful if it is near stationary. It can be exceptionally strong and successful, but it can also mean slow start or success later in life after a period of delay or overall frustration. Mercury, Venus, and Mars when retrograde will have the most influence, and individuals with these retrograde planets are prominent to work with or in analytics, office work, or from home. So any work that does not require quick decisions, like teachers, programmers, designers, financiers, lecturers, and so on. And also, for example, working in sales may not be the most suitable for these individuals. But I have noticed that most people usually already know and feel that about themselves. To determine one's career path or professional purpose, it is important to make a complete analysis of all the planets, signs, houses, aspects in the natal chart. So again, example, the 2nd house, as this is the house of own earnings and how it relates to other houses, but also the 1st house to understand how far can we move in our chosen profession, as it will indicate self-confidence and moving through the career houses. Now let's see what can be a good choice of profession according to the signs, and later on what can ruler of the midheaven tell us about choosing a profession when located in different houses. Aries signifies leadership and dominance, and the occupations governed by this sign are dentists, carpenters, army officers, surgeons, butchers, firemen, guards, or industrialists. Taurus signifies endurance, and some occupations governed by this sign are agriculture-related, property, working with luxury goods, bankers and brokers, actors, tailors, or revenue officials. Now, Gemini is versatile, and some of these sign occupations are connected with communication or journalism, marketing, teaching, doctors, healers, diplomats, representatives, translators, or photographers. Cancer is fast-walking and emotional sign, and some of Cancer professions could be connected with marine engineering, nursing, interior decorating, catering, history, preaching, or exploring. Leo is stubborn and firm-minded, and some occupations associated with Leo are politicians, ministers. They can be connected with government in any form, theater owners or working in theater, musicians or ambassadors. Virgo is soft-spoken, and some of Virgo occupations can be also doctors and healers, mathematicians, landowners, reporters, bookkeepers, astrologers, or software experts. Libra has a unique kind of energy, and some occupations associated with this sign are diplomats, judges, models, perfume manufacturers, pilots, fashion designers, or also photographers. Now, Scorpio can be very well respected, and some of Scorpio occupations are detectives, occultists, explorers, working in insurance, dealers in seafood, defense officials, or working with drugs and chemicals. Sagittarius is a warlike sign, very feisty, and some of occupations associated with this sign are patriots, preachers, financial experts, jurists, capitalists, or even shoe manufacturers. Capricorn is preserving and practical, and these individuals can take up professions that are property related, financial experts, plumbing, mining, or experts in minerals. Aquarius is informed and secretive, so Aquarius professions are consultant and advisors, intellectuals, philosophers, again, astrologers, hardware experts, scientists, or engineers. Pisces are creative and usually well learned, and some of Pisces occupations can be doctors working in amusement parks, painters, scholars, sanatorium workers, nuns, or prison guards. 10th house ruler or midheaven ruler in the 1st house indicates one profession will be on one's own efforts. In the 2nd house, area of emphasis will be on money, objects, body, or food. In the 3rd house, activity for profession will be on communication, languages, writing, or speaking. In the 4th house, activity will be on property, home, or family. In the 5th, activity will be on theater, youth, art, or management. If in the 6th, activity will be focused on data or food processing, health, or services. In the 7th, activity will be on diplomacy, partnerships, contracts, or negotiations. In the 8th, activity will be on surgery, healing, crisis, analysis, other people's money. If in the 9th, an emphasized area will be on teaching, traveling, religion, law, or publishing. Now, if in the 10th, the individual should pursue an occupation that is ruled by this planet, especially if it is dignified. If in the 11th house, emphasis will be on groups, altruism, philanthropy, creative thinking, science, or companies. And if in the 12th house, activity will be on hospitals, spiritual life, remote places, research, or charitable work. Here are some examples of occupations and astrological positions, and these should not be taken too seriously. So an architect should, according to astrology, have Jupiter in positive aspects with Saturn, most often trine. Mercury should be in fixed signs, forming a trine aspect with either Mars, Saturn, or Moon. Aquarius sign should be strong, possibly Saturn conjunct Uranus could be beneficial. Astrologers, my personal favorite. So strong Uranus, especially in intellectual signs and houses, strong air signs for clarity, water signs for intuition, even better, both groups prominent, Mercury trine Jupiter for clear judgments. Now, a not very good astrologer, along with the signs, can have Mercury square Jupiter or Mars square Venus, which can bring passion prevailing over objectivity. Now, I can say that I have one of these, and I have to admit it took me a long time, and I'm not exaggerating when I say it took me decades to learn proper self-control, and I think I am getting there. It is a slow process, but I am stubborn. Now, I was fortunate enough to meet and work with some very good practitioners, so I know firsthand not many people have before mentioned. But I did notice that there are a lot of Virgos or people with strong Virgo placements that are very good at this. Diplomats can have Mercury or Venus in the 9th house, ascendant being in Virgo or Pisces, Mercury trine Jupiter. But I did notice Grand Cross can also be seen here, involving Mercury and Jupiter. Philosopher will usually have Jupiter in the 9th house, Sun or Moon in the 1st house, with the intellectual planets in the 9th house. Intellectual planets are considered to be Mercury, Jupiter, and sometimes Saturn. Many planets in the 3rd decan of a sign, Sun conjunct Saturn, most planets in later degrees, preferably on the 29th degree. Mercury in Aquarius or Capricorn trine Saturn, good aspects between Mercury, Saturn, and Jupiter overall. And here is a hint for the next video: long fingers on the hands. Surgeons can have Mars in Aquarius, ascendant in Aries, or Scorpio and Moon in Capricorn. Journalists can have Mercury square or trine Moon, Venus, Jupiter, or Uranus on the ascendant, 10th house in Gemini, Virgo, Libra, or Aquarius. Seamen, these individuals can have Moon or Sun on midheaven, ruler in water signs, Moon trine in Neptune, Neptune trine or sextile Mars. Traders or salesmen can have ascendant in earth signs, Mercury in 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 9th, or in the 10th house, especially if these houses are in Gemini sign, also Sun in Cancer in the 1st house near the ascendant. Let's finish with musicians. So these people can have ascendant in Libra or Taurus, Venus sextile Mercury, Venus trine Uranus or Saturn for classical music, Sun square Neptune, Mars conjunction Saturn, and I know this one may be controversial. Then Saturn conjunction Neptune and Mercury conjunction Neptune for violin playing. And this is it for today. Today's quote is by Aristotle, and because I have mentioned him in my previous videos, no introduction is needed. And he said and wrote, "Where your talents and the needs of the world cross, there lies your vocation." Thank you for being here today. Let me know what you think. Do you believe that astrology can help us in finding our path in life or not? See you in a couple of days. Bye.